I will call up who's not here. Oh. Good morning, members of parliament, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, those following via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to the continuation of the public meeting number 9 for today, Thursday, January 16th, 2025. I would like to give a special welcome, to the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mr. Reginald Brook, and his support staff. At this moment, I have received notice of absence from MP Peterson, MP Sarah, no, the notice of lateness, my apologies, of MP Peterson, MP Sarah Westcott Williams, MP Ludmila de Weaver, MP Irian, MP York, MP Doran, MP Lewis, MP La Cruz, and MP Otley. Seeing that at this moment we do not have a quorum, this is a gathering. I will have to close the gathering for about 30 minutes. So the gathering will be closed until 10 a.m. Gathering closed. Good morning, members of parliament, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, those following via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to the continuation of public meeting number 9 for today, Thursday, January 16th, 2025. I would like to give a special welcome to the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Mr. Brook, and his support staff. We have established a quorum of 9 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. I have received notice of lateness from the following members: MP Ludmila de Wever, MP Irian, MP York, MP Doran, MP Lewis, and MP Otley. Is there need for any notifications by the members of parliament? I'm seeing that that's the case. MP Kotai, you have the floor.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning to our minister, those tuning in, and those in the tribune. Just very quickly, I'd just like to give a big thank you to MP La Cruz for putting the people's business first this morning. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Kotai. Is there a need for any other notification? That does not seem to be the case. We have as agenda point for today's public meeting Landsverordening tot vaststelling van de begroting van het Land Sint Maarten voor het dienstjaar 2025. Landsverordening begroting 2025. Zittingsjaar 2024-2025, 182, IS number 371-2024-2025. Dated 11th of December 2024. Before we go over to the agenda point, as this is a public meeting, allow me to remind you of the introduction of the uses of interruptions during public meetings. The following guidelines apply in accordance with Article 43 of the Rules of Order. The chairperson may permit interruptions. These interruptions should aim to seek clarification, challenge assertions, or contribute additional information, and should consist of brief remarks or questions without introduction. The chairperson will ensure order and decorum during the meetings and the use of interruptions. Members, ministers, and guests must maintain parliamentary decorum and refrain from making offensive or disorderly interruptions. Members will be allowed 3 interruptions per agenda point. The interruptions are to be posed from the lectern placed in the Legislative Hall. It is important to note that this meeting commenced on January 13th, handling and closing agenda point 1, 2, and 3 of this meeting, and continued on January 14th and 15th with agenda point number 4. We now go over to agenda point number 4. Ontwerplandsverordening tot vaststelling van de begroting van het Land Sint Maarten voor het dienstjaar 2025. Landsverordening begroting 2025. Zittingsjaar 2024-2025, 182. IS nummer 371-2024-2025. Dated 11th of December 2024. Parliament received the National Ordinance stipulating the budget of country for the year 2025 on December 11, 2024. All members have received a copy of the draft National Ordinance, and it can be found on the Parliament General Team. A Central Committee was held on December 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2024, on the subject matter in which the members of Parliament posted their questions and the ministers answered these questions. A report has been made on the deliberations in the Central Committee. The final report, and this was sent to the government, as well as to the members. The government answered this report with a so-called nota naar aanleiding van verslag, IS number 445-2024-2025, dated January 13th, 2025. On January 13th, 2025, Parliament received a memorandum of modification from government, registered under IS number 447-2024-2025. On January 15, 2025, Parliament received a revised version of the first Memorandum of Modification, IS number 468-2024-2025, retracting the memorandum under IS number 447-2024-2025. Parliament also received a second Memorandum of Modification registered under IS number 469-2024-2025, and a third Memorandum of Modification registered under IS number 470-2024-2025 from the government. These documents have been shared with the members via email. As mentioned earlier, this meeting is a continuation of the meeting that commenced on January 13, 2025. At this agenda point, all ministers of the council gave a presentation concerning the budget of their ministry related to the draft budget 2025. The meeting was then adjourned to be reconvened on January 14th, during which the members of parliament were given the opportunity to speak for a maximum of 90 minutes. This meeting continued yesterday, January 15th, with the government answering the questions of the members posed in round one. These answers were received from the Ministers of Finance, Minister of General Affairs, the Minister of TEAT, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of ECYS. These ministers are still to return to Parliament to answer the clarification questions posed by the members in the first round. Today, we will continue with the answering of the questions in the first round with the Minister of VSA, followed by the Minister of Romi, which will then be followed by the answering of the clarification questions by all ministers. There will be a lunch break from 12:15 until 1:30, during which lunch will be served. There will also be a supper break around 6 p.m. till 6:30 p.m., during which supper will be served. Seeing where we currently are with the handling of the budget, we will go beyond the 9 p.m. mark. I will now go over to the interruption status. MP Sarah Westcott-Williams, 3 interruptions. MP Egbert Doran, 2 interruptions left. MP Artwell Irian, no interruptions left. MP Veronica Jansen-Webster, 3 interruptions left. MP Viren Kotay, 2 interruptions left. MP Dimar Labega, 3 interruptions left. MP Francisco La Cruz, 3 interruptions left. MP Lyndon Lewis, 1 interruption left. MP Franklin Myers, 3 interruptions left. MP Omar E.C. Otley, 2 interruptions left. MP Rayon Peterson, 2 interruptions left. MP Ludmila de Wever, 3 interruptions left. MP Christopher Weaver, 3 interruptions left. And MP Daryl York, 2 interruptions left. I will now give the floor to the Minister of Health and Labor. Minister Brook, you have the floor. VSA Minister. To answer the questions posed by the members of Parliament, of course, in the first round. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Blessed morning to the people of St. Maarten, a special blessed morning to members of Parliament. Today with me, I have the SG of VSA, Ms. Joarnel. To my right and to my left, I have Ms. Jamie Mourion, Policy Advisor. And of course, listening on the airways, I also have the rest of the department heads and the staff of VSA as well. Once again, blessed good morning. I'm going to start by answering the questions. I'll first start with MP Ludmila de Wever. How does the ministry see the light at the end of the tunnel for the societal issues in the community? In addition to our 2025 budget, the ministry is actively addressing the societal issues through our country's packages reform measures, E1 and E4, as well as via our ministry's mandated obligations. E1 pertains to the labor market reform, and E4 pertains to the social security aspects such as labor rights, job flexibility, and poverty alleviation amongst the elderly. As previously indicated, the Ministry of VSA is in the finalization stage of its strategic implementation plan, in which reforms for both labor and social security measures are slated to commence in 2025. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And as I continue to answer the rest of the questions from the other members of MPs, the other members of Parliament, this will be shown, this will be evident. I will now continue with the Member of Parliament, Omar C. Otley, who is taking the lead in the tourist taxation legislation. Fin, VSA, Tiat. As mentioned during the answering questions for the Central Committee meeting, the tourist taxation was initiated under VSA and currently still is under VSA. It is currently under review at the SER and is expected to be finalized in the first quarter of 2025. The Ministry will await the advice of the SER and then to proceed with the process. Where can the Ministry benefit from the tourist tax? As Minister of VSA, I welcome any revenue generating initiatives for the government of St. Maarten, and of course, those initiatives that directly impact VSA. The intention of revenues generated from the tourist tax is intended for now to help pay off our debt at SZV. Following question, what are the plans to assist SZV? Both the Cabinet and SZV have been in collaboration drafting a list of short and mid-term essential measures to support the sustainability of SZV. A follow-up meeting is scheduled to take place after the budget debate. Influenza is an epidemic. Other countries are taking precaution. What are you doing? Have you reached out to the French territories? The current data for St. Maarten does not show that we are in an epidemic of influenza. The number of flu cases, be it suspected or lab confirmed, is not significantly above the normal or expected level of this time of the year. Our competent CPS civil servants are in communication with the public health partners, including RIVM, Dutch Caribbean Islands, French-side colleagues, labs, and the St. Maarten Medical Center. I can confirm that St. Maarten continues to actively monitor any suspected or confirmed cases, connected with the health partners, and disseminate communication to the public. Yearly, the month of October to March, CPS publishes articles through various platforms to ensure that the community is duly informed about respiratory illnesses, including preventative actions. What are your thoughts on the SAHA? Have you read the SAHA? Madam Chair Lady, through you, I would like the MP to know that I have browsed through the SAHA. In addition to that, I have also attended several presentations, sitting on the other side of the aisle as a parliamentarian, and also an information session that was given by the former VSR minister and the Department of Health at the university. Currently, the SAHA is at the SER. It is we are expected to receive it at the end of the first quarter of 2025, and then I will peruse the documents with all attached documents as well to form an opinion. However, at the moment, based on my based on what I've stated, for me at this moment, the SAHA is not the only solution for our social health reform, healthcare reform. Why is mental health not listed as a priority? Madam Chair, through you, please recognize that mental health is one of my priorities and was clearly stated during my presentation on Monday. What steps is the Ministry of VSR taking to address the cannabis legislation within the legislative process? As mentioned by the Honorable Member of Parliament, Ms. Veronica Jansen-Webster, during her tenure, she chose to focus directly on the mental health in relation to the cannabis, as she considered this to be of great importance. Since taking office, I have been confronted with a cannabis decision, a court case regarding a cannabis bid, and the current status of the work group on cannabis legislation. I fully agree with the former Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, Ms. Veronica Jansen-Webster, that prevention and mental health our utmost importance for our population. And mental health remains on my priority list. As Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, my first and main responsibility is to be proactive and not reactive, to ensure that all safety nets that are currently lacking are placed before continuing this cannabis initiative. I will not, in this case, put the cart before the horse. Can the Minister clarify the Ministry's position regarding the reference of court case? What is the current legal issue surrounding cannabis? In the court case, the Minister of VSR was requested to make a decision regarding a freedom of information LOB request about the selection process and the choice made for the winning bid. It was explained that I am in the process of collecting all relevant information to get a better understanding of this initiative. As a result, I have decided to temporarily place the cannabis initiative on hold. Based on this, granting access to the required documents at this stage would be premature, potentially unfair, and could influence ongoing discussions. It could also confer disproportionate benefits and disadvantages to parties directly or indirectly involved. This decision has been made to uphold the principle of fairness and transparency, thereby ensuring the integrity of the decision-making process. Based on your comment that the Honorable Member Omar Otley made on the floor of Parliament, stating being in possession of a signed contract that takes away the part of exclusivity, I would like to request on the floor of Parliament a copy of this document through you, Madam Chair Lady. Following question: what is the status of the SZV 1B legislation regarding taxi drivers and sole prioritors receiving insurance? Additionally, what actions are being taken to ensure follow-up on this matter? Given that the legislation was sent to the Council of Advice and the NADA report is still pending. The response is as follows. The advice was indeed received from the Council of Advice. The report has to be reviewed, and the NADA report will be drafted. The formalization of the following question, the formalization of the medical travel is also noted, as currently legislation limits travel to Curacao. What steps are being taken to address this matter? SFA is in process of updating their medical referral procedures and implementing a bidding process for medical referrals abroad. To address this current limitation in care, following question. The issuance of the PP cards for individuals aged 62 and above is reportedly done on a humanitarian basis, rather than the basis of legislation. How does the ministry plan to formalize this process? Until the relevant legislation is completed, we will continue to carry out the issuance on a humanitarian basis as done by previous ministers before me. This concludes the questions from MP Otley. I will now proceed with the answers for the questions from MP Veronica Janssen-Webster. Can the minister provide Parliament with the available documentation on cannabis legislation to ensure that all members have access to the necessary information? As it stands, I am currently compiling all relevant documents. Once all the information is received, I will review these documents and decide what can or cannot be shared to honor your request. This may result in submitting it as confidential documents to Parliament. Stating this, right now it is premature to provide Parliament with such documents. Following question. Can the letter regarding the court case be shared so we can see the dates of receipt?
Minister, we have a MP that would like to make use of his interruption. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Through you to the Honorable Minister of VSR, any documents that are confidential should be able to come to Parliament under confidential and be perused by the honorable members of Parliament. I do not believe that the minister has to decide which documents are confidential. If you expect us to get a full view of what is going on and claims are being made, I for sure, I don't know about the other members of Parliament, would like to see all documents. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. Minister Feza, you may answer the interruption or react to the interruption.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. As I stated in my answering, perhaps it wasn't too clear, but all the documents will come, but it might come under the note of confidential documents to Parliament. So I did state that during my answering. Okay? But if it wasn't clear, yes, we can provide all the documents, but it will come under the title of confidential. Thank you very much. I will continue. As mentioned above, I am currently compiling all relevant documents. Once all documents are received, I will review what can and cannot be shared. What can be shared at this time is the following. On February 13, 2024, a Freedom of Information request was submitted to the then Minister of VSR. On March 6, 2024, according to the claimant, there was a formal refusal leading to an appeal being filed with the Court of First Instance on March 15, 2024. On July 9, 2024, the court issued a ruling ordering the respondent to make a decision on the February 13, 2024 request within 3 weeks. On October 18, 2024, a statement of defense was submitted stating that the decision was expected around November 29, 2024. The ruling of this decision was booked at the government building on November 22, 2024. I was sworn in on November 26, 2024. This matter was brought to my attention on November 30th, 2024. On December 13th, 2024, my person answered the LOB request. That is the sequence to which the documents were received and the back and forth communication with regard to the court case. Following question. Is it a truth or a myth that after the tendering procedures, one grower was given exclusivity for a limited time, and has the grower since requested an extension? I have been provided with some documents in regard to requesting, I have been provided with some documents in regard to your request today. I have had the opportunity to sit with my coalition partners, the Ministry of TIAT. I have not been able to look over all the given documents yet. However, what my coalition partners is stating is that according to them, after the tendering process, a grower was given exclusivity for the growing for a limited time. According to them, it was also true that the vendor According to them, it is true that the vendor has requested an extension period for the contract. Given the current state of information available to me, and considering what has been stated on the floor of Parliament, I am unable to make an accurate statement on this matter at this time. Can the minister give an indication of the number of requests for admittance to the Mental Health Foundation that was received by VSI in 2024? And what percentage of the report in these requests indicated cannabis usage in these patients? The number of requests for admittance to mental health in 2024 is 28, and the indication to cannabis use is 71%. These are the answers for the Honourable Member of Parliament, Veronica Jansen-Webster. The following question I will answer for MP Duran. How far are we with the HAP? What is the vision of the ministry? Are we getting other practitioners? Are we going to include other doctors? Or are we going to do away with it? A plan on the proper implementation of such service is expected to be received within the first quarter of 2025. However, it should be noted that all registered general practitioners can offer extended hours to their patients if they choose to. Can the minister give the top 5 priorities for 2025 for his ministry? Through you, Madam Chair Lady, it is quite difficult for me just to limit the priorities to just 5, but I'll try. First and foremost, priority for this minister is our civil servants. As I stated, it is important that we make sure that the people that are taking care of the people of St. Maarten is taken care of. So our civil servants definitely is number 1 on my priority list. Second, I will execute a plan of approach that focuses on the proactive and preventative mental health care and its campaign. In addition, initiative programs to alleviate poverty will, including the IOV tax, in collaboration with the Minister of Finance, is also listed as a priority. In addition, assessed and identified possible revenue-generating streams for VSI, and also amend certain labor laws. Those would be the 5 that I will mention today. However, in my Central Committee meeting and also in my presentation on Monday, I mentioned more than these 5. So other priorities are also on the list of this minister. The following MP questions that I would answer is MP Christopher Waiver. Has the cannabis work group involving the ministries of Justice, TIAT, and VSI provided the cabinet of VSI with all relevant documents pertaining to its activities? I submitted a request for information and documentation for the relevant ministries, and I'm currently awaiting the information from some of them. Next question. For the upcoming Job Expo in March, can the Department of P&O and the NES collaborate to share a single booth in order to reduce costs? The NES does not intend to participate in the National Career Fair in Amsterdam this year, 2025. The lessons learned during the 2024 are applied to the local initiatives, including the job fair that was held in 2024 here in St. Maarten. And this is also planned for the calendar year 2025. We take note that the objective of the NES is to encourage graduates abroad to take up jobs on the local labor market. I will now follow with MP Darrell York. Is there a technical report available for the mental health institution? And what are the contracts? And when are the contracts expected to be signed? What is the timeline for the mental health institution? The leading institution, NRPB, has indicated that the procurement for the design firm is currently ongoing, and the finalization of the contract is taking place after the completion of this process. This is planned for February. After completion of the design, the technical requirements and packages, a tender for bid will be published. It is anticipated that the project completion will be June of 2027. I will now follow with MP Peterson. Are there checks being done to casinos when it pertains to labor contracts? Madam Chair Lady, through you, during my tenure, it is my intention that casinos and all other businesses will be inspected. Following question, is all water testing for the ministry being done by SLS at the moment? And if not, who is doing additional water testing? And why are they being used instead of SLS? Yes, SLS is the only lab that is recognized and appointed to be used by government on St. Maarten. Regarding bottled water, is that water being checked and tested? And if so, by whom? The last time that this was done was in 2017. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. My ministry will look into this issue. Following question. SLS received government land. Why has SLS not constructed a facility yet? What is the holdup? This is correct, MP Peterson, through you, Madam Chair Lady. SLS received a parcel of land from government to construct its own lab. However, due to the pandemic, together with the recent change of the St. Maarten General Hospital developments, SLS is in the process of adapting its planning accordingly regarding the current situation. Following question, how is food testing being done at the moment? Currently, no food testing is being done. However, a proposal to initiate a testing program was made by SLS back in 2021. However, to date, nothing has materialized. I do agree that food sampling and testing plays an important role in the safeguarding our community. This program has my attention. So thank you for bringing that as well to the attention of the ministry. Following question. What are the current statistics on gambling addiction on the island? Several institutions are tasked with addressing these issues. Is the communication between Turning Point, Mental Health Foundation, and the ministry functioning effectively? There are currently no statistics on gambling addiction on this island. However, as part of the country packages, measures H2, which falls under the Ministry of TIAT, and which VSI is also an active group member of, our ministry has championed gambling addiction research that is set to commence in the first quarter of this year. As it pertains to the ministry's working relationship with stakeholders, such as Turning Point, Foundation, and Mental Health, communication between said entities and the ministry is as and will continue to foster open lines of communication and partnership. Following questions. that I would answer is from MP Sarah Westcott Williams. First question, what is the ministry's overall vision regarding acting positions within its organization? Upon swearing in, as minister, I have focused on assessing all matters related to HR. Personally, I think it's unfortunate that within VSR and other ministries, we have hard-working civil servants who have been acting positions for years. My cabinet and I are assessing all possibilities within the legal framework to address this issue. Is the minister aware of a project proposal for a food bank on St. Martin based on the World Bank reports in collaboration with the UNDP? Has any progress been made on this project? MP, through you, Madam Chair Lady, I was informed by BAC that indeed there was a UNDP project related to food security funded through the Resembled Go program. My understanding that this project led to the updating in the agriculture policy and a hydroponic train-the-trainer pilot project in schools. Within short, I should receive a file pertaining to the details of this project of this project, right? Good. Once I receive that information, I will also share with you, Member of Parliament, through you, Madam Chair Lady. Following question, what is the ministry's current position regarding the social registry? How does the ministry plan to address the delay caused by the lack of capacity? The social registry has been adopted as our newly way of approaching and identifying vulnerable persons in our community. Though there is a delay in the timeline, the MP can rest assured that the development of the social registry continues. While the case management module is delayed, the ministry has actively registered or actually registering household, identifying and compiling cases, and working on complicated cases with stakeholders. And as it pertains to the lack of capacity, the ministry has already charged staff from within the ministry with the task of related to the social registry. Hence, the implementation is continuously moving forward. What is the ministry's position on conducting the STEP survey to determine the health profile of the country? Data collection has been completed, and the data has been cleaned and verified. The next step is for PAHO and the World Health Organization to support the Ministry of VSR with data analysis. A preliminary report is expected by the end of February 2025, and a final report is expected by the end of April 2025. Following question. Is the HAP decision focused on the concept of a general practitioner's practice in general, or is it specifically to an establishment in Simpson Bay? Does the investigative approach apply to this particular facility, or is it intended to address similar facilities more broadly? The ministry is looking into proper implementation of the concept of the HAP and not at any specific establishment. However, when considering implementation, location, and practicality for the community will be considered. These are all the questions that I've received for MP Sarah Westcott Williams. The following question I would address are those posed by MP Myers. What is the difference between pandemic and epidemic for the general public to know? As per the World Health Organization, an epidemic is defined as an occurrence in one community or region of a number of cases of a disease that is usually large or unexpected for the given place and time. When an epidemic is described, the time period, geographic region, and particulars of the community group in which the cases occur must be clearly specified. A pandemic. A pandemic is an epidemic that spreads over multiple countries and continents, affecting a larger number of people. It indicates a global impact with widespread transmission beyond localized or regional level. Madam Chair Lady, I want to reiterate that at this point in time, there is no reason for concern. Okay. I thought I missed something there, though. Okay. Madam Chair Lady, can I ask for a brief moment?
Sure, Minister Feza. Will 5 minutes be enough?
Yeah.
Okay. I will adjourn this meeting for 5 minutes. Meeting adjourned. reconvene this meeting, and I once more give the word to the Minister of VSA. Minister, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, lady? No. Sorry, correction. Madam Chair, lady? No. Sorry, correction. This question was already answered by the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. I will continue to the following question. Has there been any follow-up to the idea of having inspectors from TIAT, VSA, Justice conduct joint inspection with reports prepared immediately instead of taking up to 6 months? Response: interministerial inspection take place on a case-to-case basis.
Minister, the question that was asked by MP La Cruz was a question posed to the Ministry of VSA. If that's the case, you would have to repeat that question, the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Yes? Thank you.
It was, Madam Chair, lady, just for clarification, it was a question that was actually posed to the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, but in recording, the Ministry of VSA realized that the information that the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport needs to be provided from VSA. And it was. So it was provided from VSA and it was presented yesterday as well.
For clarity's sake, could you please repeat the answer? So that is just
The challenge, Madam Chair, the challenge, Madam.
Once you have it, Minister of VSA, if you could then answer that question.
Okay,
so
no
you can
problem.
continue.
Thank you very
then.
much.
Yes.
So I'll continue with the second question. Has there been any follow-up on the idea of having Inspectorate of TIAT, VSA, and Justice conduct joint inspection with reports prepared immediately instead of taking up to 6 months? Interministerial inspection take place on a case-to-case basis. The Minister will follow up regarding the indicated 6 months time frame for reporting. It must be noted that since being sworn in as a Minister of VSA, interministerial inspections have taken place and reports process was finalized within 24 hours. What are your plans concerning the EHAS? Why not expand the program to allow participation from 4 or 5 different doctors? MP, through you, Madam Chair Lady, you mentioned EHAS, but I am assuming you are referring to the HAP. Currently, the ministry is considering a way forward with the HAP. As soon as it is possible, as soon as the process is finalized, and all parties and people of St. Martin will be informed accordingly. Explain in detail the present financial situation of SZV. Madam Chair Lady, through you, SZV has indicated that the current ratio is 1.75, which means that for the time being, liquidity-wise, SZV can only pay its short-term obligations. However, there is a bigger financial urgency as it pertains to the healthcare scheme of SZV. In 2023, the negative reserve for these funds were $320 million. Additional information pertaining to the financial standing of SZV can be provided to the MP by the end of the day, perhaps, for 2023, through you, Madam Chair Lady, if that's okay. Okay. Next question. What specific actions are being implemented to address the budget deficit and ensure SZV sustainability. Some key actions currently being implemented are the hiring of more medical specialists in order to reduce referrals abroad. The referral procedures have been adjusted to make the process more efficient and effective, and ensure that patients are ready to travel to meet the regulations. SZV transitioned from card to cardless. SZV has improved the efficiency of service by automating their procedures. In addition, SZV is facilitating the implementation of the healthcare information system with key healthcare players like the general practitioners, pharmacists, and developing a health information number. In addition, SZV has conducted audit on healthcare providers to ensure compliance with established billing procedures. SZV has implemented an increase in the wage limit for the ZFA funds. Following questions. Are there accountability measures in place for those responsible for the current situation? Can the ministry explain how it's possible that the previous CEO is now the current interim director of SZV, while according to faction, he previously contributed to the current financial situation there? Regarding the financial position of SZV, one cannot deny the structural deficit gap between income and expenses in the healthcare sector, including, among others, the aging population, technological developments, cost of healthcare increase faster than income through the healthcare premium, the loss of jobs due to natural disaster and pandemic, and note must be taken that the financial situation of SZV has been at the attention of government for over a decade. Following question. Considering the increase in mental health issues in our community, what tangible initiatives is the Ministry of VSR planning to implement in coordination with SZV to address these challenges? Are sufficient resources, facilities, and specialists available to effectively tackle this issue? Thus far, the ministry has organized several conferences on a local, regional level and aimed at assessing mental health needs and responses, including forensic care on a kingdom level. In addition, initiated the process of updating national legislation and regulation on crisis admission. And lastly, drafting a strategic framework with the input of various stakeholders. The intention, as it relates to the concrete action plan moving forward, Parliament and the people of St. Maarten will be informed within short as it pertains to our initiatives, which will be rolled out soon. Can the Minister give an update on the National Health Care Program, NHI? The honorable members of Parliament were informed in the recent Central Committee meeting regarding the SAHA that the draft legislation is currently at SARE for review. As soon as this advice is received, the legislation with all accompanying documents will be thoroughly reviewed by myself and my ministry. can the ministry give an update on the hospital? What is the latest financial status of the project? Is it still on plan to be completed when it was promised within that time frame? During the Central Committee meeting, I indicated that the project was approximately 200 days behind schedule. The expected date of completion of the main building is May 2026. The date of overall completion is scheduled for February 2027. Are the funds being allocated transparently? And how can ministers ensure that there is no misuse of these funds? The answer is yes. The three stakeholders, St. Maarten Medical Center, SZV, and government, conducted a business case study from the onset, which outlines the best way to monitor the funds of the project. St. Maarten Medical Center receives updates monthly, and government receives updates periodically. Following question. Why did the Ministry of VSA approve the hiring of 40 foreign workers, sidelining local contractors? Was this decision in violation of the agreement? What steps are being taken to rectify this and prioritize our local workers? The ministry has collaborated diligently with FINZO through the National Employment Service Center to facilitate their participation in the National Job Fair 2023 and 2024. Statistically, data from these job fairs indicate that the demand for labor on the General Hospital project significantly exceeds the supply of specialized skill available in the local labor market. For FINZO, the main contractor and developer of the General Hospital, a total of 48 permits, including renewals, were issued between 2022 and 2024. These permits represent 22 non-national workers. The positions filled include contract managers, civil engineers, crane operators, quality assurance managers, surveyors, HSE coordinators, financial managers, site managers, logistic managers, MEP managers, procurement and logistic managers, architect, building information managers, structural engineers. This data highlights the critical need for the specialized experts that is not currently available in sufficient numbers within the local workforce. Following question. When it relates to undocumented workers in our labor market, is it possible for someone not legally registered on the island to still go register at SZV? What is the ministry's immediate plan to regulate these workers, issue permits and ensure they contribute to SZV revenues? And will measures be taken against the business employing them illegally? The ministry continues to work closely with the Ministry of Justice to address the undocumented labor force on St. Maarten. Notwithstanding the challenges faced with the local labor market, which includes primarily the influx of undocumented workers, the objective remains to tackle this from a multi-layer approach. One, employers are encouraged to regulate the legal status of their laborers through the application of the employment permit. The Ministry of VSI continues to build awareness through information sessions on immigration and employment permit hosted by Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs, and the Division of Labor Affairs and Social Services. The Inspectorate of VSI is tasked with enforcing compliance, and it is our intention to increase control. Note must be taken that individuals registered in the ZV funds are registered based on their employment status and not their legal resident status. These undocumented individuals who are currently employed on St. Maarten are contributing to SZV's revenue once registered by their employees. As stated earlier, VSI is going to look at ways of generating funds. And on the floor of Parliament, through you, Madam Chair Lady, for those businesses listening to this meeting at this moment, I would like to make a statement that those that are caught, when we're busy regulating our finding process, those that are caught, we're taking this very seriously, that those that are caught employing undocumented workers, that we will do everything possible within the means available to us to penalize, as MP Sarah Westcott stated, the behavior of individuals. We have to start, and this Minister of VSI will start protecting the people of St. Maarten to ensure that we can minimize poverty, because that is one of the reasons we have poverty in this country. I'll continue. Is there a contingency plan for SZV? The contingency plan at the moment is to implement the health levy. What public awareness campaign has the ministry launched to raise awareness about mental health, Alzheimer's, and dementia? What are the ministry's plans to reduce stigma and encourage early intervention for these conditions? During the month of September 2024, VSI, through the Department of Social Development and Department of Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs, collaborated with St. Maarten Alzheimer's Foundation, White and Yellow Cross, the Henry Oshana Foundation, and the Voice of Our People to bring awareness regarding to dementia and Alzheimer's. Every Friday during this month, information was shared via the Voice of the People, PJ82, with the public, by professionals in the fields, and someone living with the disease. Additionally, church visits and information evenings were organized by the ministry with aforementioned stakeholders to keep the community engaged. Personal stories from caretakers, family members, patients, as well as professionals were shared and captured. A video was also created which will be officially launched later this year, leading up to Alzheimer's Dementia Day. The video was already shown as a teaser at the information sessions. In 2024, there was also a partnership with the Mental Health Foundation and Men's Mental Health Awareness Foundation, where CPS launched Are You OK?, which address suicide and mental health. For 2025 and beyond, it is the intention to collaborate with stakeholders and increase public awareness on mental health in general and not only Alzheimer's and dementia. To reduce the stigma and encourage early intervention, the ministry will strive to establish support programs, be it at schools, faith-based organizations, or within various health institutions. Community Development, Family, and Humanitarian Affairs, in partnership with Mental Health Foundation, are enhancing accessibility to community-based mental health service by providing scheduled appointments in a safe and supportive environment. This initiative ensures that clients can seek help confidentially and comfortably. To further address the stigma, Community Development, Family, and Humanitarian Affairs, in partnership with the Mental Health Foundation, are actively engaged in developing an awareness campaign aimed at reshaping public perception around mental health. The campaign will focus on education, inclusivity, and fostering understanding within the community. Additionally, Community Development, Family, and Humanitarian Affairs, in partnership with the Mental Health Foundation, are proud to endorse the upcoming premiere of The Wonderful Counselor, a film that sheds light on the mental health challenges and aims to reduce societal stigma. By utilizing creative platforms such as the cinema, the ministry seeks to reach a wider audience, encouraging dialogue and promoting empathy towards individuals experiencing mental health issues. Following question: how is the ministry planning to staff and equip the hospital? Is there sufficient budget and recruitment plan to ensure that it's fully operational once completed? The St. Maarten Healthcare Institution has its own robust HR policies that includes recruitment and selection. The Ministry of VSA's only involvement will be via the continuous support of General Hospital to ensure that their staffing is on the required level to ensure the quality of public health. Yeah. All right. The support also includes the fast-track process of the employment permit for those hard-to-fill positions such as doctors and specialists. Can the ministry give an update on the ongoing investigation at the Hilton Beach Resort? The Hilton Beach Resort case is a sensitive and ongoing case. What I can share with the Member of Parliament at this time is the Hilton Flamingo Beach Club was inspected by the Inspectorate of Labor, and during the inspection, personnel information was gathered. Hilton was instructed to provide the Inspectorate with additional documents on all their employees to verify compliance with labor registration. As the case is still ongoing, the Inspectorate will keep me informed on all further developments. Madam Chair Lady, through you, the Member of Parliament can rest assured that this matter too has my full attention. This particular case has reinforced my conviction that the current labor and immigration ordinance needs to be revised in order to truly protect the people of St. Maarten. And as co-legislators, the executive branch and Parliament, I will be reaching out to see how we can make these changes. Following question: Do you take personal responsibility for the challenges within SZV, the healthcare system, and the labor market? What assurance can you provide to Parliament that these issues will be resolved under your leadership? It is important for the Honourable Member of Parliament to know that the issue mentioned have been there for over decades. However, the COM, the Council of Ministers, specifically VSA, together with the relevant stakeholders, are committed to doing our part to ensure that these issues are dealt with in a sustainable manner. This concludes the questions and answers for MP Francisco La Cruz. Sorry? The one at the top? No, what I'll do, I'll probably ask him to submit it as well. Madam Chair Lady, I would like to request that the first question that MP La Cruz asked, that I said that was answered by Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, if it's possible that I can also provide this before the second round to the MP? In writing, yes.
That seems to be okay, Minister, so you may continue.
Thank you very much. Through you, thank you very much, MP La Cruz, as well. I now continue with the Honourable Member of Parliament, Lyndon Lewis. What progress has been made in the certifying ambulance personnel according to the CZO standard? In 2024, a term of reference, the TOR, regarding the certified training program for the ambulance nurses and ambulance drivers/assistants was approved by the Minister of VSA to be sent directly to 3 recognized certified training institutions in the Netherlands. One certified training institution responded to the TOR and submitted a proposal. This proposal was vetted, and further contracted negotiation and discussions are ongoing with intention for the training to start in 2025. This certified training will be based on National Protocol Ambulance 9, which is currently standard in the Netherlands, Aruba, and Curaçao. Following question: when will the automated priority dispatch center be fully automated? And how will it improve the emergency response? It is in the planning of the ambulance department to have the computer automated dispatch center fully automated for the ambulance dispatchers. This system will enhance the efficiency of call taking and reporting of all medical emergency calls, which are specifically handled by the ambulance dispatcher. Considering that this is based on the involvement of the other players, we are looking to have the automated priority dispatcher fully implemented by the end of the second quarter of 2025. What is the current status of the new strategic personnel and formation plan for the ambulance service? A first draft of the strategic personnel and formation plan is being reviewed. Can the minister explain how the ministry is working to meet international healthcare standards, such as those set by the PAHO and CAFA, DPH/CPS? The Ministry of Public Health, Social Development, Labor is actively working to meet and exceed international healthcare standards, including those established by PAHO and CARFA by focusing on key strategies, which includes strengthening healthcare system, capacity building and training, policy alignment, and implementation. What is the timeline for setting up the port health structure, and how will it enhance public health service? Port health. Port health was brought to the forefront as a result of COVID-19. However, the ministry have been conducting aspects of port health at points of entry at the airport and cruise terminal since 2012. These include healthcare surveillance and screening. While CPS does not screen passengers at points of entry, CPS does surveillance, for example, via the Maritime Declaration of Health. Quarantine and isolation. Ensure that there is an identified designated area for managing suspected or confirmed cases of infectious diseases at PJIA and Port Sint Maarten Port. Emergency preparedness and response, protocols for handling outbreak and health emergencies guidelines have been shared with points of entries. As such, key components of port health are already carried out. Having a properly structured, implemented port health authority carried across ministries in place would further enhance our community's health. How is the ministry preparing for disaster resilience, and what were the outcome of the recent ESF6 disaster exercise? Emergency Support Function 6, ESF6, exercise are conducted yearly in preparation for the hurricane peak. These have been crucial in assessing and improving the ministry's disaster response as it relates to guaranteeing pre- and post-evacuation of critical patients. In 2024, key outcomes include strengthened coordination, identified gaps, enhanced readiness, community involvement. The ministry remains committed to advancing disaster resilience and preparedness to safeguard public health in the face of emergency and natural disasters. What are the ministry's plans to improve inspection for health, pharmaceuticals, wholesale services? The ministry plans to improve the execution of the responsibilities of the Inspectorate of VSA, among others, and restructuring the formation of the department. This change should lead to a strengthening organization capacity, enhancing compliance monitoring, and streamlining inspection procedures. Next question, what steps are being taken for timely renewal of membership with international health organizations like PAHO, CARFA, and DCHA? The Ministry of Health is and remains committed to ensuring timely renewal of membership with key health organizations, including PAHO and CARFA. As a result, the ministry has prioritized budget to meet the financial obligation for both PAHO and CARFA membership. Additionally, the ministry has proactively ensured that the necessary resources are available for the Dutch Caribbean Hospital Association. Following question. Can the minister provide an update on the social mapping activities in St. Maarten? A community risk mapping exercise was conducted in St. Peter's in 2022. This exercise focused on identifying and assessing potential risks within the community, with the goal of improving preparedness and response strategies. The findings from the community risk mapping are used annually to inform and enhance community planning, disaster preparedness, and risk mitigation strategies. This initiative is part of an ongoing effort to enhance community resilience. Following question: what are the ministry's plans for evaluating the effectiveness of workshops on financial budgeting and self-esteem? Evaluations are part of an ongoing process. Immediate evaluation is done during the workshop and post-workshops. Workshops and information sessions carried out by Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs and Social Services in 2024. The evaluation process involves completing surveys or assessments before and after workshops, as well as participants' evaluation, which help identify the most relevant areas and the usefulness of the information shared. Additionally, social services conducts comprehensive social economics home assessments for financial aid recipients who are categorized as most vulnerable. And the outcome of those assessments form an integral part of how the ministry plans to structurally address the challenges of those individuals. What has been the outcome of the previous ESF 7 disaster exercise? And how will future exercise improve disaster resilience? The outcome of the previous ESF 7 disaster exercise, which includes training in shelter management conducted in August 2024, was highly successful. The training provided key stakeholders with vulnerable skills and knowledge, ensuring better preparedness and response capability in the shelter management during a disaster. Additionally, through 2024, the continuous training of the ESF 7 volunteers played a key role in strengthening the team's readiness. The team met with over 87 volunteers and conducted various training sessions and transectic walk as preparedness exercise. These activities ensure that volunteers are well equipped and familiar with the protocol and procedures needed during a disaster. Next question. How will disaster risk reduction training and shelter management program benefit civil servants and volunteers? All training in the areas of relevance to the ESFs are aimed at equipping civil servants and volunteers with the needed resources, tools, and knowledge to perform their duty during a disaster. The direct benefit to civil servants and volunteers is further evident by the collective ability to contribute positively on a national level, therewith boosting morale of the team of the respective ESFs. Next question. What criteria are used to prioritize beneficiaries for housing repair and temporary shelter programs? The housing repair program, as well as the transitional shelter program, have been concluded. During the operations of these programs, beneficiaries were prioritized based on a set of criteria that include being registered for home repair at the ministry, the severity of the damage to their home, the vulnerability of the household, such as elderly individuals, unemployed, single mothers, persons with disability, and the need for urgent repairs. These criteria ensure that the most at-risk individuals and families receive the required assistance. Following question, can the ministry provide an update on the government's current initiative on enhancing the quality of life for seniors, citizens on St. Maarten? As the Minister of VSA, the quality of life for seniors, citizens is one of my highest priority. As such, I have requested the ministry to engage with relevant stakeholders to ensure that a comprehensive and intangible need are evaluated and addressed, and that ongoing and new initiatives are prioritized in the upcoming strategic period 2025 to 2030. This includes continued discussion with the Ministry of ROMI, with social housing, discussion with the relevant organization and care facilities, updating relevant social security legislation, and upgrading development of specially designed social programs. Following question, are there any new or existing social support programs specially designed to assist elderly citizens in need of financial or social assistance? If so, please elaborate on their effectiveness. For this one, I would refer to the answer that I just gave with regard to question number 14, the previous question. Can you update Parliament on the availability and condition of retirement homes or elderly care facilities on the island? Are there plans to expand these services to meet the growing demand? The ministry recognized the urgent growing need for specialized care in our community. In an effort to meet the demand, White and Yellow Cross are currently in the process of increasing their capacity by implementing a phased expansion approach over a 4-year period. White and Yellow Cross submitted their first request for expansion for service, which was granted in October 2024, and will lead to an increase of 20 clients who can receive daycare service and the additional 12 nursing home beds. White and Yellow Cross provided the ministry with an overview of their immediate future expansion for other care products. The ministry is actively exploring ways to ensure that the elderly are cared for as needed in the future. This includes assessing current capacity, identifying gaps in the service delivery, and planning for the expansion of residential and community-based care. Our approach will involve collaboration with stakeholders, including private and non-governmental organizations, to build a sustainable, inclusive system that supports aging individuals and their families. Following question, given the rising cost of living in St. Maarten, what measures are being taken to ensure that seniors can afford adequate housing, practically those that are living off their pension. The Ministry of VSI is currently revamping its ordinance on financial aid to include additional social aid benefits for persons who are deemed the most vulnerable in our society. As a minister, I also recognize the importance of collaboration with other ministries such as Ministry of AZ and VROMI for development of policies addressing social housing needs and rental control. Following question. What efforts are being made to encourage seniors? What efforts are being made to encourage seniors' participation in community activities and ensure that they remain actively engaged in social life? Seniors are actively encouraged to join various senior organizations that offers a wide range of programs, including exercise classes, art, crafts, educational workshops, and recreational activities. These programs are designed to promote physical and mental and social well-being. Additionally, seniors have participated in the Smart Tech program organized by the Community Development, Family, and Humanitarian Affairs. These are specially aimed to teach them how to effectively use smartphones, computers, and social media. This initiative has helped seniors to stay informed about community activities, maintain connection with family members, and participate in virtual events, thereby expanding their social engagement. Furthermore, volunteer opportunities are provided to seniors to enable them to contribute their time and share their knowledge with other seniors as well with the younger generation. Additionally, the government continues to support and collaborate with the elderly organization through incidentals and structural subsidies. Next question, and final question. On the overall financial standard of senior citizens, what is the ministry's plan to give a living wage to seniors citizens based on plafond? What will be the living wage for seniors in this country? Through you, Madam Chair Lady, I would like to thank MP Lewis for this question. Coming into office, I have had in-depth discussion with various entities, including the SEER. I take note that the living wage is not an isolated discussion. As indicated during my presentation yesterday, 2 days ago actually, a poverty line study is one of my priorities for 2025. Since taking office in November, it has become clear that there are different possibilities and resources available to initiate this process. Thus, we are pursuing the avenue that provides timely yet effective solutions. Taking along the livable wage discussion would be something that I wholeheartedly support. Madam Chair Lady, I've come to the end of answering the questions for the honorable members of Parliament.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of VSA. Does any member have a point of clarification? I'm seeing that that's the case. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Madam Chair Lady, a very good morning to you, to our Secretary General, to my colleagues, and of course to the Minister and his support staff. Firstly, Madam Chair Lady, my thanks to the Minister for providing answers to the questions. Madam Chair Lady, I am going to ask the Minister, like I did several ministers, all of them who are involved in this issue of cannabis legislation. Why do I say the issue? Because from the ministers, I am getting different answers, different concerns, and I think while I had several questions for the minister, but I think I've found why it sounds confusing. And what I asked about yesterday, not only to this minister, but to other ministers as well, was the request for proposals, or a proposal that came from the government of St. Maarten. The terms of reference is for the study of the legislation of cannabis on St. Maarten. I want to go further, Madam Chair Lady, because I think here is where I, and I guess many with me, are getting confused based on the answers given by the ministers. The request for proposal launched for the study on legalizing cannabis in St. Maarten states, the government of St. Maarten is seeking to receive proposals, and for brevity's sake, I would like this document either to be shared, because I'm not going to read it, but the point that I do want to make is that that statement from the government of St. Maarten begins by stating, the government of St. Maarten is seeking to receive proposals from organizations, etc., for a study. The second paragraph in that statement by the government states, the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor would like to invite and welcome proposals for the exploration of a regulated and legalized cannabis industry. Minister of VSA, through you, Madam Chair Lady, are there two trajectories based on the request for proposals that was issued by the government of St. Maarten in September of 2022? That is my question. Are there two trajectories? One by the government of St. Maarten is asking for something, and then the Minister of VSA is charged with another something. Are there two trajectories? Is my question based on what the Minister of VSA responded. I will give my position in the second round to the government, because I think this matter is very, very confusing for all stakeholders, regardless to which side of the fence you are on. And can the Minister of VSA, as he indicated, has been put on hold? What has the Minister of VSA put on hold, since the government also has issued an assignment, is my question. Madam Chair Lady, I heard, and my colleague picked up on the issue of confidentiality. I need to caution each and every minister of government to be careful with the issue of confidentiality based on non-disclosure agreements. Non-disclosure agreements come about in very specific circumstances, and I am advising all ministers not to be led by the counterparty, especially towards Parliament, saying, don't give information. I would like to know from the minister, based on his answers, is this minister's Secretary General now in a permanent position? And if not, why not, and when will it be fixed? I want to ask the minister if, with respect to my questions to which the answer was given about the food bank under that title, if any funds were allocated. So not only capacity training, technical assistance, but funds for a food program. I want to, the matter of the social registry, in the second round, I'll inform the minister what my intentions are as a member of parliament where that matter and community councils empowerment is concerned. The issue of confidentiality, I want to repeat it based on the answer given by the minister to the STEPS survey, in which it was, and now I paraphrase, responded to Parliament that the ministry will see what information can be shared with Parliament. It is not my intention, and I'm sure not the intention of the survey, to provide personal information. It is the intention to provide data. And now I want to get to the issue of the HAP. HAP is a concept. HAP is a concept of huisartsenpraktijk, huisartsenpost, actually. It is actually the concept of a huisartsenspoedpost. In the Netherlands, you got somewhere around 100 of these posts, where general practitioners get together to give a particular service to their patients. The center in Simpson Bay was granted permission to operate a HAP. So if the name of that center is not the HAP, the concept is a HAP. So what is the issue, if any, if there is, with the center in Simpson Bay that is now executing a HAP? Is carrying out. General practitioners got together and they are exercising the concept of a HAP. Is there an issue there? What is the issue? In 2023, the government / the ministry established a policy for establishment of healthcare services on the basis of what? Did the center in Simpson Bay, did it require special permission? On the basis of what was that permission given then? And what is the problem now? Madam Chair Lady, I was happy to hear the strong statement by the minister regarding enforcing the foreign labor policy, and that overtraders will be penalized. And I want to encourage this minister, like I encouraged the Minister of Romy, to use the possibility of administrative fines in order to get this matter done as soon as possible. And whatever the ministry requires in order to effectuate the ordinance on administrative sanctions, bestuurlijke handhaving for this particular ministry, if the minister can indicate that ASAP so that we can work on it. Because we have a national ordinance, bestuurlijke handhaving, that can be applicable to the ministries at different times. And in order for it to be applicable for the Ministry of VSA, that needs to be established. And I want that to be established ASAP. And I'm asking the minister, based on his statement on immigration, what his ministry needs in order to make that happen ASAP. I'll get back to the issue of poverty line, etc. in the second round. And I want to thank you, Madam Chair Lady, for allowing me to ask the minister to clarify those issues. I thank you kindly.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. I'm now giving the floor to MP La Cruz for his clarifications. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
A blessed afternoon, or still morning, Madam Chair Lady, to the Griffier, the Minister and his support staff, those in the Tribune, my fellow colleagues and those watching on social media. Madam Chair Lady, I took note of the answers that I received from the Honorable Minister of VSR, and I have a couple comments and questions or clarifications. The first one was the question that I stated concerning the multidisciplinary team had nothing to do with inspections. What it had to do with was the issuance of operation licenses. Okay? So I am fully aware that when it comes to control, everyone gets together, because that is easy. But the part of being able to get a business up and running faster, because the problem is simple. You have to get health first, then you need to go by fire department, then you need to go by this department, then you need to go by this department, by that department, before you are able to submit the documents by TIAT. So if one team could be put together, the person requests an inspection for operation license, and one member from every department goes the same day, and within 2-3 days, those documents could be handed. If there are any changes that need to be made, that makes it a lot easier for businesses to be able to open up and start bringing money to the coffers of government. Madam Chair Lady, through you to the minister, and he mentioned that I'll have all that he promised before the second round. Please note that is extremely important to me, because I am one of the first speakers in the second round. The next was, I took note of the reply concerning the Hilton, but I'd like to tell the minister, please pay attention. Please pay attention. If you see now a spike in registrations from the Hilton, then you know what was going on all the time. Please pay attention to that. And then the minister is one of the few, even though I'm not 100% satisfied with the answers, but the minister was one of the few ministers that realized that my questions were geared more to awareness that we are in dire need, that your policies need to be revamped. Times have changed. Please pay attention to that. And then the minister spoke of the registration at SZV, and again, that was not where I was going. My comment to you, to the Honorable Minister of VSR, is actually that a lot of employers pretend that they have done the work to register the employees and take taxes, take SZV from them, but do not register them. Now, a person like that that thinks he's doing the right thing by paying his taxes and awaiting the documentation from his employer, what and how can that be handled? That is the question. Because that person now is officially still illegal on the island and doesn't feel comfortable coming to the government building, going to file a complaint, and most of the time can't even prove it. Okay? So, Madam Chair Lady, through you to the Minister of VSR, again, thank you. And I expect to see those policies revamped or scrutinized. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. I now give the floor to MP Otley for his round of clarifications. MP Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good day to the Honorable Minister of VSI, his support staff, my honorable colleagues, the viewing and listening public. Madam Chair, I'm going to comment on this because for clarification's sake, and this will be the last time that I address it until round 2. Cannabis, it's not confusing at all. We choose to make it confusing for public consumption. Because, Madam Chair, just as the ENIA agreement or any financial implications that government does, it says pending the approval of Parliament. Pending the approval of Parliament. It's not confusing. A negotiation was made, and the government said, this is what we would offer, but pending the approval of Parliament, who is the true representatives of the people. Any changes can be made, and it states that. And that's why I urge the Honorable Minister of VSI, through you, Madam Chair, to read. Take your time. I heard the Honorable Minister say I didn't get a chance to peruse, but I talked to my coalition partner. How? The Honorable Minister is the same minister as the minister that initiated the process. Everything is there. Through you, Madam Chair, take your time. I also hear the Honorable Minister says that exclusivity was given for a certain period of time, and the company has requested an extension, which means that the company is not 100% satisfied with what proposition was made by the government. Again, I am not in government, Madam Chair, and that's what I want the Honorable Minister to realize with your answer, through you, Madam Chair, the decision is yours. And the members of Parliament when it reaches here. Madam Chair, I also heard the minister mention about the court case. I left in May. The Honorable Minister said that the court sent a letter July 9th, 2024, stating of the situation. The Honorable Minister also stated that October 2024, the court sent another notification stating that by November, an answer should be given. And no one responded until December 13, 2024, which was the Honorable Minister who took it upon himself to respond. Also, the Honorable Minister stated, when asked about the question about cassettes and how many was implicated due to marijuana, the Honorable Minister stated 71%. Is that correct, Madam Chair? Which shows that we have a marijuana issue already, so why not regulate it? 71% marijuana is already considered basically an epidemic. So, Madam Chair, through you, to the Honorable Minister of VSI, when asked by my honorable colleague about the plans for SZV and the opinions of the health levy, the Honorable Minister of VSI stated, it's at the said. And I'm hearing said, but when I listened to the Honorable Madam Chair Lady and the Prime Minister yesterday, said doesn't have a chair. So please do not wait on the said to get familiarized, through you, Madam Chair, with the documents.
MP Otley,
Yes, Madam Chair?
would like to remind you, this round, and I'm not going to repeat myself, it's also to all the members, is to ask for a clarification. Up to now, I haven't heard a clarification. It's not round 2. You will have round 2, and you have 45 minutes to use round 2. But please, through me, ask the Minister of ASA for clarifying his questions. I will now give you the floor to continue with clarification.
No problem, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I am done, but I would like to also make note that member opposition of not, I expect to be treated the same way and fairly like others, because I realize it's only MP Otley that is getting interrupted and being told that he's not giving clarifications. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
MP La Cruz, you have the floor for clarification.
Madam Chair Lady, thank you for the opportunity. One more time, the Honorable Minister mentioned that there was no data on casino and casino habits. That is incorrect, Madam Chair Lady. A census was done, and a great part of the census were questions to the population concerning gambling habits. So again, and that was why I mentioned to the minister that I'm not totally satisfied with his answers, because it sounded a little rushed off. So please take your time, have the staff, or your staff, look in and call the Department of Statistics. You have your previous Minister of VSA, who was before this the head of statistics, and she can confirm that that data is there. So I'd like to have that data also, Madam Chair Lady. Thank you.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. I'm seeing that there's still an MP that would like to make a clarification. MP Peterson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning good afternoon to yourself, to the Honorable Minister and his staff, to my colleagues. Madam Chair, just to touch on the point that the Minister made through you, Madam Chair. The food inspection, the Minister said that we are not inspecting food at the moment, which is alarming. I agree with the Minister as well. But the Minister also mentioned a food inspection proposal done by SLS, I believe it was in 2021. Is there any reason as to why the initiative by SLS was not pushed through back then by the previous administration? Is the reasoning for this on record? Because hearing that there is no food testing at all is a bit alarming, especially given the case that I spoke about last week. And I think that's the only update that I'm asking the Minister to you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Peterson. I now give the floor to MP Durand for his clarification. MP Durand, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, my honorable colleagues, the Minister, support staff, and a special good afternoon to the people of St. Maarten that are tuned in. Madam Chair, I have two clarifications through you. I heard the Minister mention that the bill for SZV, the debt to SZV is about 300 million, if I'm not mistaken, but I heard the Minister of Finance give a different figure. I also heard during last night's responses that the Minister of TIAT gave a figure and also indicated that it might be different from finance in terms of licenses income. Madam Chair, we are here discussing the budget. We're expected to make a sound decision based on factual information, and I would like to get some clarity on the point. What is it? Is it 300 million? Is it 100 and something million, as the Finance Minister mentioned? Because we cannot have two different answers coming from one government. So if that could be clarified, I would appreciate it very much. Through you, Madam Chair, I would also like, since we're on the SZV topic and the Minister mentioned in terms of the finances of SZV, I would like some clarity if there's any update on the monies. I think it was a couple 100,000, if not $1 million, that was paid out a year and a half or 2 years ago, erroneously to a hack. What is the update on that? Who was held accountable? How did that go? Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I appreciate the responses.
Thank you, MP Durand. There are no other clarifications at this point. Before I go over to adjourning the meeting for lunch, I would like to remind all members of Parliament, opposition or coalition, that the clarification rounds should be used correctly. If, for example, something is being said by any ministry that is incorrect, then the interruption round can be used to seek that clarification or interrupt the ministry in that regard. That being said, I will now adjourn the meeting till 2 p.m. so that we can have a lunch break and the Honorable VSA Minister can use that moment to answer, prepare the answers for the clarification. Meeting adjourned until 2 p.m.